Welcome back to What She Said Sports, everybody. It's Shanola Girl. Okay, so welcome back. We saw the headlines. We're going to get right into it. We're standing on business. Why? I think we're outsiders. Outsiders, we are here. We have realized that Shedeur Sanders is being held back intentionally. We know this. I said yesterday that the media should be focused on asking why, as Shedeur Sanders is the proven best quarterback that they've had, and they pursued him extensively pre-draft. Why are they not wanting to move forward with Shedeur as their starter? I shared yesterday that I don't really pay attention to local Cleveland Browns media anymore, or the locals who cover media, because it is apparent that the agenda they're all parroting is to utilize stereotypes, pushing stereotypes about Shedeur Sanders as a black quarterback, meaning, he doesn't have the ability to pick up and process as rapidly as Dylan. Well, here's the thing, right? You can't be all bad at processing if you're the most accurate QB with 70%. If you exited college with 72% accuracy, after 74% accuracy, after being sacked over 50 some odd times, then you don't have an issue processing. They want to say he has an issue learning the plays, or he's processing slowly or slower than Dylan. Well, Dylan's processing isn't all that great because his numbers aren't, and neither is his play. Dylan is in a worse position than Shedeur. Shedeur is actually being set free mentally, mentally first. So I have some clips from today's interview with Shedeur's, and I curated them because I wanted to talk about what Shedeur told us, the messages he sent, right? He changed up his hair. He's back to 2020 Shedeur. And I love it. I've always said I like this style. And why it's important that Shedeur has this style right now, because not only does it show you can't break me. I'm not new to people trying to disrupt my progress. The hair is a message. Whether they know it or not, it's a message. The message is you can't break me. I've been here before. You can't throw me off my game. I know who I am. It doesn't matter what you say. I'm not focused on those that don't like me for whatever reason, because we don't really care. We're not gonna waste time on what the reason is, because we've talked about it. We know exactly what it is. We know it's racism. We know it's bias. However you want to dress it up and make it cute. We know what it is. And I pointed out today on X that the Cleveland Browns are not concerned about the consequences of their racism, of their organizational malpractice, defamation, or intentionally holding Shedeur back. They don't care what their fans think. They don't care what the NFL, who should be holding them accountable, think. They don't care what Congress thinks, because Congress has had to have oversight of the NFL before, when it came to the Washington Commanders and their organizational malpractice. Organizational malpractice is not a new term for the NFL. As it pertains to the NFL, it involves racism, it involves harassment, it involves bullying. Everything we're seeing with Shedeur, everything. Now you can add collusion with the draft. Now you can add collusion in Cleveland. But the Browns are not concerned about it at all. And the Cleveland Brown fan base has started to realize, oh, they don't care what we think. The Cleveland Browns fans have realized they're trying to force another mediocre quarterback on us. So the fans are pondering a boycott, or as they called it, and I maybe should update my title to reflect what they're calling it. They're calling it a stay away. They're encouraging other fans to stay away from the game on TV, to stay away from the game in person. They were already fatigued with consistently poor performance by the team, consistently poor management by ownership, the GM, the head coaches, etc. They were also upset when the team decided to bring in Deshaun Watson, and they felt like ownership didn't care about the community well-being after everything that Deshaun Watson was accused of. I'm like, so how y'all feeling right now? because you have the best quarterback with the most likely chance to win in Cleveland, and they want to bench him. First team reps the conversation. We're beyond first team reps. We're in intentional sabotage of someone's career. The goal is to say he's not that good, despite what we see. The goal is to label him a fourth string QB. So when he is draft capital, he won't be worth anything. He'll go on to another team and they will pass the baton and they will label him a fourth string QB. And then after a year, they will cut him and then he'll be passed to another team. This is an effort to ruin this young man's career. They've done it before, they know it, and they don't care what the fan base thinks, the US government thinks, House oversight committees, they don't care. They feel they are untouchable, they are invincible. A stay away isn't strong enough. Those stadiums need to be sit let it rot. Just let it sit there and echo the sound of the wind. They're already talking about boycotting the new stadium in Brook Park. That should have never happened. So, yeah, they should boycott that too. But the powers that be that should be, the NFL, is allowing Cleveland to be negligent with Shedeur and others, but Shedeur also. See, the difference is the other guys, Deshaun Kaiser, he didn't have the fan base that Shedeur. Shedeur is the right one to go there. He can deal with this mentally because he knows what it is. He knows that the people that lured him in were full of it. All you have to do is look at the Cleveland Browns media. If you go to their X, the banner page is a face of Myles Garrett. If you scroll through their pages, they aren't really talking about Shedeur, but they are saying Dylan is ready to take on Carolina. When they post about Shedeur, they just say he locked in. No mention of Carolina. Shedeur was asked, was he going to, has he been talked to about playing in Carolina yet? He said no. They don't care. They fear no retribution. They fear no consequences. They don't care about their fan base. They don't care about the NFL holding them compliant. They don't care about workplace rules and regulations. They don't care about non-NFL fans. They believe they can do whatever the hell they want to do, which is why you see them holding back Shedeur intentionally, and why you see local grounds media parroting stereotypes, persistent stereotypes against black quarterbacks being used against Shedeur. This is an old playbook. So the Browns fans in their stay away, why I applaud it and I understand their fatigue, they're gonna need to step it up. The Browns fans are the last recourse to holding the organization accountable. Yes, stay away. Browns podcasters, not local media, but just podcasters, are now saying out loud, Dylan isn't good, and they're forcing him on us. It, the same podcaster that said that was also the same podcaster that said after OTAs, he was a fifth round draft pick. In other words, they lied to us about Shedeur. So while I applaud a stay away, they don't need to keep it up a notch. They're gonna need to get together and make their voices heard. They're gonna need to talk amongst each other and stay away. And the 2 million people that bought those jerseys, they need to get together and file a complaint because it can be done. The Browns are the last recourse of visible action. They excited. They want to see Shedeur. They're yelling, put Shedeur in as Dylan is struggling. And today they realize, one, there's no competition. Two, they're forcing a mediocre quarterback on us again. So this is actually a post by a Browns fan. It's lengthy. We're gonna read it. It's important. It lets you know they're tired. It lets you know they are here. We all are in the same place. He said, why can't the best Why can't the best man get the job? It feels like the Browns are once again pushing mediocre quarterback on us. And as fans, we're just expected to accept it. But we invest our time, money, and passion into this team every single year. We deserve better. That's facts. This needs to be their mission statement. I like the idea of the stay away, but that is not urgent enough for what needs to happen. I understand that people label the Browns fan base in Cleveland as a blue collar town. I get that. But sometimes you have to make your voice heard. It's true. We deserve better. The Browns fan base deserves better. Why? Because they are loyal. But see, ownership is exploiting the loyalty of its fan base to steamroll its fan base. Oh, they gonna show up. The New York Giants got on their team. Carolina Panthers, Washington Commanders, they had to go before Congress. That's what needs to happen with Cleveland, but that might not happen in the climate that we live in. But you can definitely file a complaint about it to see if it's gonna happen. It should happen. There's no reason why it won't happen because it's the same thing the Commanders do. Understand, when the Commanders ruined RG3's career, when they bullied him, when they scapegoated him, when they devalued him, when they paid him less, when they snatched money from underneath him right before it was supposed to be paid to him, he was sent to Cleveland, which means Cleveland should have seen enough. Deshaun Kaiser, while y'all were going 0 and 15, the Carolina Panthers fans were likely gearing up to go against they ownership. It's y'all's time to get up. Stay away, fine, but you need to kick it up a notch. You need to make your voices heard. Don't just argue about a stadium that's not there yet. Make sure the one that's there is to sit empty. That's the show of support right there. So they go on to say Dylan Gabriel isn't the right choice for QB1, right? But you see ownership. You see ownership is forcing it. It says his stats don't back him up. And it's frustrating that the Browns management can't seem to see that. And see, that's where they're wrong. They see it, they don't care. See, the Browns fans have not arrived to where we are, right? They haven't made it to this part. They're at the part now. See, we've been here in OTAs, mandatory camp. We were here. Oh, they holding him back. Better than Dylan. He's better than Dylan out of college. See, now that the numbers are out, they waited for the numbers to come out. As inept as your organization is, you were fatigued before Shedeur. You ought to be pulling your hair out at this moment. Like he said, they invest their time, their passion, they're loyal. That's facts. But your loyalty is being exploited. You ought to be upset about that. You ought to do something about that. A stay away is good, but you need to kick it up a notch. Y'all just need to talk to each other and y'all need to pick some games. And those are the ones that you stand on business. Because what you're seeing is Dylan Gabriel is not better than Shedeur. But the Cleveland Browns have a vested interest in holding Shedeur back. Local Browns media, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Rally around the podcasters in the Cleveland Browns space that have the audacity to be honest. Locked on Brown, listen to them. They have the audacity to be honest. Don't listen to the old guard local media. They are parroting the same message from the 1960s. Black quarterbacks don't have the mental capacity to be lead. So we don't want them to lead our franchises, but we'll happily exploit their talent in any other position. Therefore, we want to switch you to a wide receiver, a defensive back. The only difference between Shedeur Sanders and Lamar Jackson pre-draft experience, they didn't ask Shedeur to switch off to wide receiver. They were just going to let him fall out the draft and do exactly what you're seeing now. Draft and destroy. So, yeah, Browns fans deserve better. The NFL should be holding these I guess these teams, these franchises accountable because that's what Chick-fil-A would do if they had one of their franchises consistently in a space where you can talk about and be under the microscope for organizational malpractice. That Chick-fil-A will be gone. Then there's the NFL Players Association. Apparently, they still ain't ready because they should have filed a complaint on behalf of hell, Shedeur and Dylan. Dylan is in a worse position because they don't want to trade him. Shedeur is better off because he can get traded. They want to keep Dylan and trade Shedeur. That's setting Shedeur free. There are people hashtag free Shedeur, trade Shedeur, boycott Cleveland. All of it needs to be kicked up a notch with a sense of urgency and a message. Yes, we are loyal, but you will not exploit us either because they're exploiting Dylan and Shedeur. People saying that Shedeur might not play in Carolina because he reported arm soreness. So what you want him to do? The reason he has arm soreness is because you're letting him sit. You're wasting his time. You're wasting his talent. Now today, Dylan is out with a hamstring issue. So they're gonna lose Dylan and Pickett. I don't care if Shedeur never plays a snap for Cleveland. Cleveland has made it obvious and have said it basically in all sorts of kind of ways. They've made it crystal clear. We do not want Shedeur to be a viable part of our organization. We do not value Shedeur as a viable part of our organization. The owner, he was not our pick. He was not my pick. Barry, yeah, his cost, his acquisition costs were light. So you was cheap. So we got you. So that doesn't give you a right to mistreat him, to bully him, to emotionally abuse him, to ruin his career and hold him back. One would say Andrew Berry has absolutely no credibility because Cleveland fans did cancel their season tickets when he decided to acquire Deshaun Watson for $250 million. Something the Cleveland fans clearly can't see. Andrew Berry don't have that kind of power, but he's willing to take the blame. So now the owner has given the blame for Shedeur. So it rests on Berry's head what's happening to Shedeur, that he's being held back. He was a lower acquisition cost. Sure, fine. You don't value him. Then why haven't you traded him, Andrew Berry? Kevin Stefanski, you pre-draft extensively with Shedeur because you told us post-draft press conference. You know exactly who Shedeur is. He gonna come in, he gonna work. Andrew Berry said he gonna outperform his draft stock, which means he gonna increase his draft stock. Other teams gonna see it. So why haven't y'all traded him yet? You don't want Shedeur. You don't value Shedeur. Why haven't you traded him? And Stefanski, since you pre-draft extensively with him, and his acquisition costs were low, which meant he was cheap, and he wasn't on the board, and he magically fell into your hands. Why are you not starting who you pursued as your franchise QB at number 2 in the 2025 NFL draft? Even with him proving to still be your franchise QB, you still chose to hold him back. Kevin Stefanski is a bigger BSer and a better BSer than he is a head coach. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry should both be fired. The owner of the Cleveland Browns should be forced to sell the team for persistent organizational malpractice, something the Commanders were investigated for by the U.S. Congress. We are here. This is beyond Shedeur Sanders. Dylan Gabriel could have the same complaint. You drafted me 3rd round, which meant you thought I was a backup, and you want Shedeur's 5th round status to hang around his neck like a noose. I got to be a 3rd round QB, and now I got to be QB1 like that. See, holding Shedeur back as a 5th round pick only works for Shedeur. So they want to elevate a 3rd round pick to QB1. But see, this is where they messed up. You have a true backup, a true 3rd string QB who you didn't value as a viable part of your roster. And now when the guy that you pre-draft extensively at franchise QB looks like a franchise QB on your roster, proven best QB on your roster, performance in the numbers, you want to force a true third string QB who's not ready to lead as QB1 for the sole purposes of restricting and blocking your QB1, your franchise QB on the roster. That is malpractice. That is malpractice. That's forcing Dylan to be something he's not. And it's holding Shedeur back from something he is. But no reporters are asking why. It's not a competition. The Browns fans realize that. Dylan is being forced. They also know Dylan is not the best QB. They know they deserve better. So what y'all gonna do? So it's saying Dylan's stats don't back him up as a QB1. And it's frustrating that the Browns management can't see. They can't seem to see that. It said this isn't the first time we've been this isn't the first time we've seen questionable from the front office. It is hard to keep trusting a process that doesn't deliver results. The fans deserve answers. I agree. Hope y'all having a town hall or something. We're stuck with the team. We've stuck through the team through it all. Facts. They're loyal. It's time the Browns started making decisions that reflect the commitment we show them every season. I agree. So Browns fans have arrived. They know Dylan is not better than Shedeur. They know Shedeur is the best QB they have. They know it's not a competition. They know Dylan is being forced on them as a QB1, and they not gonna happen. They also know, yeah, Flacco was here in 2023. He wasn't in 2024. He wasn't that good in 2024. He's good for a few games. They know Pickett is not good. Shedeur look better than Pickett. My question is, when you gonna like make a full on book and every day stand on these people's heads, stand on business, get your media involved, have your voices be heard. And if the media don't want to talk about it, that's why y'all got podcasters. So what they gonna do about it? They considering a boycott, they considering a stay away. What they gonna do? What's really gonna happen? Because they see what it is. And the moment that team gets outside of the confines of the city of Cleveland with the name of the Browns, they won't matter at all. Because everything they're building in Brook Park is to attract entertainment. They don't give a damn about the competitive sport of football. So, Cleveland fans, you are here. You've made it to where we've been since OTAs. Shedeur Sanders fans, football fans, non-football fans that pay attention casually to the game could tell you who Shedeur was in college. Shedeur is saying it. I'm exactly who I've always been. He's facts. He's facts. He's not shrinking himself. They can't break him. We're happy about that. I told you, whenever I see Shedeur and I'm paying attention to his body language, I'm paying attention to his posture. I don't give a damn what they ask him. It's what they need to be asking Stefanski. They're not asking Shedeur about mechanics of football and anything. They're just asking him Mary Cabot, position right up front, asking him about his dad, asking him about, how he handled this, that, and the other. In other words, they're not talking to Shedeur about football. They're talking to Shedeur like he's a non-factor. That's the media that has been strategically placed by the Cleveland Browns, Mary Cabot and Tony Gross. And neither one of them have the cojones to ask Stefanski what Cleveland fans now see. Why are you forcing Shedeur? Why are you forcing Dylan Gabriel on us when he's not the best? None of them are gonna do it. So I got tuned them out. So let's listen to Shedeur and his conversation, the things he chose to share, and pay attention to all of it. Everything is a message. So I'm gonna share my screen. All right, let's see. This is coming from my oh, no, it's coming from my ex. This is from my channel. It was captured at Cleveland Browns practice today.
These the ones I'm gonna get nervous. Like it don't got anything to do with
All right,
that.
let me know if
And
y'all can
truthfully, I don't care
hear
what
what
line
he's
I go out
saying.
there with. It could be ones, twos, threes, whatever the situation is. And I know Friday when the game is, if I'm with twos, if I'm with threes, it don't matter to me. I'm just ready to get down and get to, doing what I can do. Yeah, I would say pretty much. I view it as the defense does a great job of mixing players in. So backers, you got rookies out there sometimes. DBs, you got uh, different guys out there. So it's not mentally I go out there and I'm like, oh, these the ones I'm gonna get nervous. Like it don't got anything to do with that. And truthfully, I don't care what line I go out there with. It could be ones, twos, threes, whatever the situation is. And I know Friday when the game is, if I'm with twos, if I'm with threes, it don't matter to me. I'm just ready to get down and get to, doing what I can do. Yeah, I would say pretty much. I view it as the defense does a great job of mixing players in. So backers, you got rookies out there sometimes. DBs, you got uh, different guys out there. So it's not mentally I go out there and I'm like, oh, these the ones I'm gonna get nervous. Like it don't got anything to do with that. And truthfully, I don't care what line I go out there with. It could be ones, twos, threes, whatever the situation is. And I know Friday when the game is, if I'm with twos, if I'm with threes, it don't matter to me. I'm just ready to get down and get to, doing what I can do.
All right. So what he's saying is the O line, it doesn't matter. It don't matter if he throw to the ones, the twos, or the threes. It really doesn't. To me, they robbing the ones of having a true QB1. They're robbing their own first team who want to be able to catch excellent passes and not just be camp bodies. See, they view Shedeur as a camp body. That's why he's with the fours. He's with the threes. 4% of 32. What is that? 1 point something? That's how many people are expected to make the roster from the 5th round. So undrafted free agents have a lesser chance. But he made Luke Floria looks good, but he doesn't get the credit for that. All of Shedeur's wide receivers are balling out. Every last one of them scoring touchdowns. And Shedeur, the guy that threw the ball to them, is being intentionally held back because Cleveland Browns doesn't want the best QB they've had in decades with the proven chance to win, to be the leader of the team. Like Shedeur said, for whatever reason, but I'm going to go on a limb here. Based on their history, it's not hard to see that they've never had a first round black QB drafted. They've never had a black QB to lead them the majority of the season, long term, at all. It's not hard to see that, again, this is negligence. They're not creating a supportive environment, organizational malpractice. They've actually created a toxic environment between Dylan and Shedeur and the rest of the team. How do you think the rest of the team feels seeing the best quarterback, one, held back, two, forced to repeat the same plays as if he's not getting it, three, have stereotypes pushed to hold him back? They can't say anything. Their contracts are so restricted, they have what is equivalent to a muzzle on their mouths. They can't say anything. They can't do anything. That's why it's on the fans, NFL fans, beyond Cleveland, who see what's happening. How do you think it makes people feel for Dylan to constantly be put out there with even the fan base realizing that Dylan is not that guy. They're forcing him on us. You think the players don't see it and they can't say nothing. They can do nothing because their contracts are so restrictive. Shedeur is being publicly lynched by local Browns media with persistent stereotypes used against Black quarterbacks to justify holding him back. Mentally, he's not there. Whenever you hear that, you better call it out. Because just like it rests with the Cleveland Browns fan base in Cleveland to not show up because they have the proximity, it rests with all fans who are paying attention to call out the media intentionally pushing racial stereotypes against Shedeur Sanders to justify holding him back. There is no justification for the intentional benching of Shedeur Sanders, burying him on the depth chart, forcing him to work with the players that likely won't make the team. They're constantly sending messages, and you think that's a supportive environment? No, it's bullying. Why haven't they traded him yet? So they're holding him hostage even though they don't want him. Organizational malpractice, and it falls under the category of negligence, bullying, harassment, a toxic culture. This should not be happening. And the people that should be speaking about it, the media, complicit. The NFL, who has oversight directly of its franchises, complicit. The owner, complicit. The GM, the coach, and the owner, guilty. So let's go to his next clip. So he's not worried about who he is behind. He don't care which O-line. And I would happen to agree. Because if you watched him play in Colorado, and just a reminder, everything is a message, he's going to be just fine. So for the fans that know Shedeur is him behind a negligent O-line, let him try it. Let him try it. He going to get out of there. That's if they let him play. And I don't care if they don't. I don't care if they plan to trade him. That's what they should be doing right now. There's no need to wait. Other teams have preseason games. He can go over there and learn the playbook and play a few snaps with a team that can respect him, but can anybody get him? Or they all still hiding behind the veil of collusion, including the NFL. So collusion in the draft, collusion in Cleveland, organizational malpractice again. Instead of the Washington Commanders this time, it has been for a long time the Cleveland Browns. So we're switching to the next one. Listen to this one. Let's see.
Yeah, I would say pretty much. I view it as the defense does a great job of mixing players in. So backers, you got rookies out there sometimes. DBs, you got different guys out there. So it's not mentally I go out there and I'm like, oh, these are the ones I'm going to get nervous. Like, it don't got anything to do with that. And truthfully, I don't care what O-line I go out there with. It could be ones, twos, threes, whatever the situation is. And I know Friday when the game is, if I'm with twos, if I'm with threes, it don't matter to me. I'm just ready to get down and get to, doing what I can do.
So he's gonna pretty much be the guy that he's gonna be him. It doesn't matter. Hold on a second. It doesn't matter. He's gonna be Shedeur, regardless of who's out there. Friday's game, if they let him play, it's likely not gonna be the ones. It's likely probably maybe not be the twos. It'll probably be the threes or the fours. So basically, Shedeur is like, hey, it doesn't matter. I'm going to just get out there and play. I'm just ready to get out there and play.
How do I block out the noise? I would say it always been, like I always face adversity, since growing up. In each level, it always been something. So you just know how, when you figure out how people come at you and life is a cycle, it keeps repeating over and over and over, then you understand, what game this is or what they're doing, so I can never feel less than. Nobody could ever make me mentally get out of position in the situation I am. I'm thankful for who I am. I'm thankful for who my dad is. I'm thankful for my family, and no one can make me feel bad about the blessing that I do have. How do I
All
block out
right.
the?
So basically, what he's saying is, I mean, you can't break this kid. That's basically what he's saying. He's like, he's not shrinking for who he is. You can't make him feel bad about himself. You can't make him not feel grateful or take away the thoughts about him being blessed by his father. He's going to be who he is. They can't mentally affect him. Again, pay attention. Going back to the 2023 look, that is very important, whether he knows it or not. It's very important because he survived it and he still became the best quarterback in college. This week, all of the trophies have arrived to CU. The Johnny Unitas Award. Colorado is celebrating Shedeur for winning the Johnny Unitas Award. Once again, it's a reminder as Cleveland fans are learning. It's a reminder y'all got to do your own research. Y'all got to get to know these players they are presenting to you. If you don't trust them to make good decisions, then y'all should automatically be getting together and looking into these players' backgrounds from college so you can ascertain whether they are lying to you about these players or not. And chances are they are. That's exactly what's happening. Y'all had to wait to get to where we are right now to see that Shedeur is better than Dylan. You could see that in college. You have to take the moment to do your research. You cannot blindly support people that are exploiting you, exploiting your loyalty, and steamrolling you because they think they can, because you're too busy. If you can take the time to spend the money and the energy and the effort to go to these games, what are you cheering for? So they can continue to exploit you. That's why they're moving out of the city, because they think you're not gonna say nothing. Fans who paid attention to college ball knew in OTAs that Shedeur was better than Dylan and the best QB on the roster. Y'all should have too. If you don't trust these people to make good decisions on personnel, then why would you trust them to tell you who these players are? Why would you listen to your media who's parenting lies from the organization? The fans are the difference maker in Cleveland. The fans should stay away. Sitting back being patient for more of the same means they're exploiting you and playing you too. Playing in your face too. Playing with your money. Playing with your time. Add up all of the money you spend for the season with the Browns. Not just tickets, transportation to get there, the things you wear, you're going to eat when you're there. Sure, it's a good time. Get together and have a good time at home. Until they get the message. The fans run this. So Shedeur is good. And again, coming out of Cleveland, what I listen to, Shedeur. I don't listen to their local media because they have an agenda. A podcast that gets my attention, I'm going to look at the comments and see what they're saying. And that's how we get to this guy right here. Telling us what? He speaks the sentiment of the fans. So what they going to do about it? They say they're going to boycott. They say they're going to stay away. Okay, we going to see. Because Shedeur going to be gone, and so will we. They're going to go back to irrelevancy. They're going to go back to doing deals in the dark. They're going to go back to lying to their fans. And their fans going to have to decide. Enough is enough. Because when our guy is gone, we're gone too. If he was going to Canada, we're going too. He's that good. So we shall see. It's about time. It's really about time. It's long overdue. But understand this. Our voices are mixed in with the voices that have grown loud for Shedeur to be traded, who have held Cleveland accountable. When our guy Shedeur Sanders is gone and no longer a Cleveland Brown, we are going to. So I suggest that you kick up a notch and add a sense of urgency to this stay away, to this boycott, while you have our voices to lend support. Because when Shedeur Sanders is gone, we are going to. All right, so Shedeur is good, and we just counting down. They say they're gonna trade somebody first game before the first week, which means the person that's been working out since OTA's rookie minicamp won't get paid. I know some people like, well, damn, yeah, they don't get paid. That person is going to be treated like a camp body. That person will be deemed invaluable. Hold on one second, guys. That person will be deemed invaluable. That person will be sent to the next team with the same invaluable label, and it's going to be cut and trade, cut and trade. Now, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders here, right? Somebody who's the best. People going to ride for Shedeur, at least $2 million guaranteed. Going to ride for Shedeur. But none of that seems to matter. None of that seems to matter, that 2 million fans. And we're not talking Cleveland Browns fans, all of them. We're talking NFL fans. We're talking new fans. See, most businesses welcome new fans to market to, but not the NFL because they're Shedeur Sanders fans. So the NFL and the Cleveland Browns are basically telling Shedeur Sanders fans the same thing they're telling Shedeur Sanders. We don't value you. We don't want you to be a viable part of what we have going on. We will not consider you, even though you are the best. Code speak. You might have spent $250 million to get jerseys, but it's not going to change a thing. So what those fans going to do? People sitting back waiting to see what happens with Shedeur to make a decision, thinking he's going to go to a new team and get a fair opportunity. Did he get a fair opportunity with this team? People will say, oh, well, you know, Cleveland is Cleveland. That's why Cleveland magically ended up with Shedeur. So that means people know Cleveland is inept. People know organizational malpractice is the strategy. Nobody cares. Nobody's willing to do anything. Shedeur gonna be fine. I sleep good at night. Every time I see it, I say less and less about this situation. Because why? I already have tuned out the local media. I'm probably gonna tune out their social media because it doesn't matter. If the fans not gonna get together and stand up, I'm not paying attention. I'm not lending my voice to that because my guy is gonna be good. And like I said, when Shedeur is gone from Cleveland, we're gone. And if he leaves the NFL, we're gone too. I already said it. People thought I was joking when I said, if Shedeur goes to Canada, I'm going too. He's that good. They can play in some people's faces, but they're not going to play in over 2 million people's faces. So let me see what y'all are saying. All right, everybody. Let's see who's in here. Hey, how you doing, Gracie? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, No Limit Soldier, how you doing? Queen of Sports, I'll take you. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Let's get this party started with hitting the like button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Tina. Hey, Ayaba, how you doing? Hey, Echo That Media, welcome back, welcome back. We have a new member, Elaine. Thank you for joining us. Freeman, how you doing? Welcome back. Bridget, and he's wearing a number 2. Yep. Now, what I'm saying, everything is a message. Everything. See, Cleveland think they the only one that can send messages. Cleveland think that, you know, Stefanski being a world-class Hall of Famer BSer makes him a good coach. And that just like people can read between the lines, the fact that he dodges questions about Shedeur getting reps. I don't care what they ask Shedeur. He's media trained. They can't break him. That means he can go forward with the rest of his career with the NFL trying to stop him, because that's what's going to happen. He didn't end up in Cleveland by happenstance. They chose Cleveland because they knew Cleveland was going to hold him back. They didn't let him go to Pittsburgh because they weren't sure Mike Tomlin was going to hold him back. So they sent Aaron Rodgers to block him. If you get Shedeur Sanders, don't worry about me. And his karma showed right on up extra early and extra crispy. So now this is his last year. I'm sure Danica Patrick have more of her domestic violence story to tell about Aaron Rodgers, and people would listen this time. Shedeur is unfazed. Facts. Facts. Everything is a message. When I saw the hair, I was like, yes, I like his hair with the twist. That's who he is. He's not backing down off being an HBCU player, then going to CU and balling out. He's not backing down on who his father is. I told you, when you damned if you do and you damned if you don't, you might as well be you. I told that to Daniel Oyefuse. I hope he remembers the message. I feel like I've already said my parting ways to Daniel. I hope he ends up on a better beat than Cleveland. Wherever Shedeur goes, and I feel like he getting ready to take flight, we go. The only reason they won't trade Shedeur is if they realize it won't be humiliated. See, Shedeur has taken the sting out of everything that they have tried to do to him. I was thinking about it today. I said, Shedeur not going to Green Bay was the smartest decision he could have ever made, because burned in the mind of a draft humiliation, because it was visual, it was on TV for everybody to see, is not Shedeur. It's Lamar Jackson. What happened to Shedeur, once it's rectified, will fade to existence because it didn't happen in front of millions on camera like it did with Lamar Jackson. The media, the national media, keeps saying the draft is ancient history. Not so fast, partner. No, it's not. We're going to get that straight. We're going to get that straight. If they cut him and he go to Canada, they going to get it straight. If they cut him and send him to a next team and the same thing happens, it's going to get straight. The stench of what they did to Shedeur, and I use the word stench, is because you remember it, but it's not as visual as it was with Lamar Jackson. And yes, as time goes on, you will think of it less if he's not in the league, but the stench will always be there. So to me, that's God looking out, giving him the discerning spirit not to go to Green Bay. People pointed out that the NFL itself is documented, allowed people to run around and defame Shedeur. Why would I go to Green Bay? They wanted him to come to Green Bay, but they treated him like trash in the combine. They let teams devalue him, but he's supposed to come to Green Bay. So that means you don't think much of him to think much of himself, that he would allow you to mistreat him that way. Dylan's whole family probably got something to say about the way Dylan is being forced into QB1 that he's not ready for. So they're not actively developing these rookie quarterbacks. I just want you to know. They're not developing either one. They're trying to make their case for the foolishness that they want to play out. Go ahead. You already did it in the draft. We're not surprised by anything you do. He's not going to be humiliated. You cut him. He's free of y'all. Thank you, Jesus. Can I get an amen? They can't break him. Keeping him on the roster will provoke a war between the NFL and fans and non-fans. So they have to cut him. Throwing out there that we going to trade him. If you ain't hurting us, don't threaten us with a good time. I want to see you send him to another team. I want to see what they going to do. Because if they going to do what you did, then we got y'all. So it's all upside from here on out for Shedeur. I told you Shedeur was going to be in Cleveland long enough for the truth to be exposed. I rest my case yesterday. You see today, 2023 Shedeur is here. He not backing down. He not shying away from his father. He's blessed. And like he said, however people feel about me for whatever reason, I don't worry about it. He's unfazed. So we can go on from here. We can go on from here. They not like us. That's facts. They are not like us. Hey, Kiel, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It said there will be once it starts hurting their pockets. Yeah. And that's between them and their fans. Because once Shedeur is no longer a Brown, that's on them. My advice to Cleveland I gave yesterday before I rest my case, y'all need to call up the Green Bay Packers fans and learn from them how to force a sale of your team and make it go to public ownership. You need to learn how to force a sale of the team. You have enough evidence. You have enough evidence to use to force a sale. You have enough evidence to boycott and to demand a sale. If you could demand and sell season tickets because you don't want Deshaun Watson there, then y'all should be out there in the streets behind Shedeur Sanders, your best QB in decades. This comes from Cleveland Browns coaches. Something Al Davis did to Marcus Allen. They want to bench Shedeur to make him suffer. They can't punish him with money because he comes from wealth. So they try to take away his dream. Right. And guess what? It's not working. What did he say when he first got there? I'm not worried about first team, second team reps. I have time. He said, what did he say? He doing the same thing in Cleveland that he did in the draft. Oh, he's sliding from 1 to 6. That ain't a slide. That's just a move. He going from 6 to 9. He tumbling to 21. And then they locked him out the whole damn first round. Oh, there's the case here, ladies and gentlemen. They act like they not concerned about what they fans think. But they definitely concerned about what 2 million people think. He wasn't cut. And why do you think that is? He should have been cut according to them. They were going to cut him after what? After mandatory camp. Now they want to trade him. Well, let's see if it happens. They tried to keep him out the draft. They couldn't do that either. So they care what somebody think. Things are happening that they can't control. If he's supposed to be in Cleveland, he's going to be there. And they're going to get all 2 million of our voices on how they treat Shedeur. And some of us going to show up. But this really rests with the Cleveland Browns fan base because it's been going on too long. It's called organizational malpractice, and negligence is the category. It involves bullying, discrimination, harassment, workplace misconduct, and the list just goes on and on and on. And it's been happening in Cleveland for over a decade. The team has been inept since 1999. The discrimination is there. The proof is there. The malpractice is there. It's enough to force a sale of the team. Get on it. Queen, they let Dylan Gabriel work with the ones with a hamstring problem. Like I said, they're not developing these quarterbacks. Like I said, Dylan family, they have their own grievance. Where the hell is the NFL Players Association? And this is why I said I didn't have much faith in that. Yeah, I'm still going to get that book that comes out tomorrow. I'm still want to see what's in it. But these guys have no recourse. See, in a normal political climate, that's where the House Oversight Committee comes in the United States Congress. But we're not at that place. I mean, it could happen because it is how Shedeur got drafted. Don't think it's not. There's a reason why they never talk about that. But this rests with the Cleveland Browns fan base. We gonna ride for Shedeur. We feel like he about to make an exit. If they pull a switcheroo and realize, oh hell, if we cut him, it's not gonna matter, and his fans gonna show up. So we gonna have the same problem all over again. So wait, let's trade Dylan or Pickett, and we just gonna keep Shedeur and bitch him. I'd like to see you try it. I want to see you try it because you're not gonna be successful. You wasn't successful with keeping him out the draft. You had to draft him. He was nobody's pick. He was placed there and not to be abused. So we have recourse. A lot of people are waking up to what's going on with this man, and they are not silent. Right. They are not silent. They are not. The question is how or who protects Cleveland for them to get away with it continuously. Well, like I said, the NFL should be the first stop. NFL Players Association, the league itself. Those are the 1 and the 2. The NFL Players Association should be publicly speaking out about what's happening to Shedeur and Dylan. Shedeur first, and now Dylan. See, they done moved Pickett out the way, and people question whether Pickett is truly injured, and now Dylan is injured. Shedeur has arm soreness because they're starting and stopping. These people know what they're doing. So they're allowing both of them to look hurt. And what people need to understand is they don't have a plan for neither one of them. The most egregious issue with Shedeur is they pre-drafted him extensively as their franchise QB. And now that he's on their roster for cheap, to use their language, why are you still holding him back? It points to malfeasance. It points to false pretenses. Myles Garrett is the face of their social media. Dylan is who they say getting ready for Cleveland. Getting ready for Carolina. All they said about Shedeur is he locked in. They don't have a real plan for him, and they pre-draft with him extensively. They should be happy. But now, see, the other door has opened. They didn't open a can of worms. Did you pre-draft with him under false pretenses? Did you lie to him and make him believe you were interested in him, knowing you were going to always trade that pick? Because you traded the pick before CU's pro day. And the owner said the next day after Jacksonville approached Andrew Berry, we took a big swing and miss with Deshaun Watson. So did you scapegoat your hurt player? You got 2 hurt players right now. You had a hurt player in Deshaun Watson. You scapegoated him because he injured under your watch. And that's why you not drafting Shedeur. You going to scapegoat Deshaun Watson to block Shedeur. That's why he came out seemingly random and said it. It wasn't random at all. They had decided to get rid of that pick. So when they went down to CU Pro Day claiming to be making decisions on Shedeur and Travis, they lied. They done opened up a whole can of worms that is well beyond the draft. It is showing persistent, pervasive fraud, corruption, collusion. It has moved from the NFL to Cleveland. And they next move with Shedeur better be careful. Because if they put him on waivers, it's going to be a problem. Because don't forget, the NFL gave out Shedeur Sanders' phone number to 2,000 people who work for the NFL, which is all 32 teams, including equipment managers. Who was Shedeur throwing to last week? That was a non-football player. Equipment managers. So you still trying to humiliate him. You using stereotypes to justify him race norming. That you settled $1 billion lawsuit for violating Black NFL players' civil rights. There was a player that had played in the NFL and ended up in some very strange situations. Very, very strange situations. McDowell. Google him. And I said, I think he had CTE. And this man had gone to jail 3 times for various things. One of which I think he was the one walking around in the streets fully unclothed around a children's center. And I was looking at it and I said, this man probably has CTE. And the next thing it said was the NFL gave him a second opportunity and put him with the Cleveland Browns. I said, the what? They worried about speeding tickets and this is happening? And then I said, wait a minute, what year was this? And I think it was 2021. I said, oh, that's right. The NFL settled $1 billion lawsuit for race norming, violating Black NFL players' civil rights, maintaining that Black NFL players have lower cognitive functioning than white NFL players. And the race norming was occurring also. It was a policy and a practice, unearthed, a policy and a practice, and it was used in addition to other aspects of the NFL to pay Black players less money for CTE. So at this one time, you have all of these Black players exhibiting CTE in the streets. And the Cleveland Browns is the team he goes to in 2021 to give a miraculous second chance. And he balled out for a while, but CTE doesn't go away. Why Cleveland? Why Deshaun in Cleveland? Why Shedeur in Cleveland? That was 2021. So was he really being given a second chance? Or was it because the lawsuit was out there and they didn't want to settle? So the players with CTE in the community that was starting to pile up with all of these charges in the community. The NFL decided to give one in particular, the most egregious case, a second chance. And of all teams, the Cleveland Browns. Terrell Pryor was sent to the Cleveland Browns after he was benched for an undrafted quarterback. An undrafted quarterback replaced a QB1. Not because Terrell Pryor was bad. He was a dual threat. They didn't like it. Said he was throwing the ball too much or he was running too much. So they benched him for an undrafted free agent quarterback. But Shedeur Sanders can't even pick his own jersey number at number 5. See, the rounds of the draft only work for the players that they want to manipulate their draft stock. If an undrafted free agent quarterback can replace Terrell Pryor's star QB from Ohio State, then Shedeur Sanders ought to be able to replace Joe Flacco. So it's selective how the rounds in the draft are weaponized against players they want to intentionally devalue in the draft, and the roster picks up the baton when they get to their respective team. And yes, it's supposed to break the players, but it doesn't. But the moment the players develop the attitude, since you don't want to let me play and win, I'm going to just show up, do my job, and leave, they're going to be pissed off. Oh, they just coming for a check. You can't win. You damned if you do, and you damned if you don't. So you might as well be you. So I'm proud of Shedeur for wearing his twist. Yes, it's reminiscent of 2023 because they try to take him down from within. So that means pay attention. Why you think they asked him about the O-line? He said, I don't care about the O-line. Kevin Stefanski praised their O-line leader who was on the golf course with him, Boycott. Let's see what he made of. So be proud of Shedeur, and you keep holding these people accountable. Keep using your voice. I'm so glad you're saying because nobody else is. No, they want to talk about football. You can't talk about football no more. You can't just talk about the NFL without talking about this. This is egregious. This is not new. This is a public lynching. And now Dylan is being humiliated. I'm from Ohio, and it's status quo for the good old boys. It must be. It must be. If Shedeur is having problems with the playbook, with the numbers he's putting up, throw the playbook out the window. I like it. I like it. Throw the playbook out the window. Facts, because the playbook trash. And we know the coach is a con artist, a BSer, then he is a better coach. So, yeah. I told y'all when Kevin Stefanski was coming around saying good things about Shedeur, I said somebody forced him to say that. Let's see if they make another miraculous 360. Good evening, beautiful people. Yeah, people want to talk about something that doesn't matter. Reps don't matter. You have to have human decency at this point. You have to be a decent human being and call out the fact that they're holding back the best player on the team. One, because he's black. If you don't think that that's what it is, then prove me wrong. I want you to look at Cleveland's history. They don't care. They're doing this in the face of their fans who are loyal. That's exploiting the loyalty of the fans. Oh, they're going to show up regardless. That's why they're moving out the city, because they don't give a damn what you think. Make them feel your presence. That's what you do. You make them feel. You let them know who it is that run this. The fans run this. For all 32 teams, they can't do it without the fans. You can run off to all these foreign countries and play all of these games in these other countries, but most of your games are still played in the U.S. You need the U.S. fans to make it work, because the moment they get 18 overseas, they ain't gonna give a damn about the U.S. fans either. So you better speak up while it matters. They 7 games out the country, won't be long before they get to 18. And they have yet to play one in Africa, and they keep getting players from Africa, but I haven't seen them get a quarterback yet. They will not trade Shedeur. The whole point of the collusion was to make Shedeur suffer. They can't make Shedeur suffer. They can't make Shedeur suffer. They won't trade Shedeur because they can't, which means collusion is still in place. Well, let's see, because Shedeur did get drafted against their wishes, and they make him know it, and they show us every day we didn't want him. Then trade him, damn it. Trade him. Why haven't you traded him? We don't even care why you don't want him no more. Just trade him. We know why you don't want it. See, once I know what's going on, I don't give a damn what you think. Once I can prove that this is racial bias, I don't give a damn what you say. It don't matter what you say. We don't even care that you don't want him. We don't want y'all. We don't even want him in Cleveland. He can't say it, but goddamn it, we don't want him in Cleveland. That's why people keep running around trying to find other teams for him to go to. Hell, we don't want him in Cleveland. Facts, 100%. The whole staff need to be investigated. Right. Organizational malpractice from top to bottom. Top to bottom, negligence. Football players don't advocate for anyone. They're afraid. Remember, hell, they can't. They can't. Their contract. We went over their contracts. Their contracts are so restrictive. They can't say anything. Their contracts are restrictive and demand loyalty. It is up to the fans. And to be honest with you, I mean, why are you paying good money to keep showing up supporting this type of malfeasance? Why are you taking time out of your life? Because you're not going to get that time back to go support a team that don't want to win. That keeps saying we're going to get it next year. So they just want to win with a white quarterback. Well, good luck. Good luck. I want to see what your locker room going to do. Because clearly they counting on certain players to be loyal to the plan against Shedeur. Harold Fannin Jr. couldn't catch a damn ball the other day, but he was praised by a coach verbally. That's how it's done. Shedeur don't have no place in Cleveland. They trying to make sure the first team don't feel some type of way, so they trying to make the first team players feel like we value you. They don't want the first team players sticking up for Shedeur. They don't want the locker room being in shambles, so they trying to manipulate the first team. Well, if you allow yourself to be manipulated, then that's on you. They scared to death of Myles Garrett. They scared of him. He was out there talking to Shedeur. I don't even know if Shedeur was actually mic'd up that day, or Myles Garrett was mic'd up that day, or somebody's damn camera is high powered on audio because it picked up their conversation. And Shedeur was asking Myles Garrett, do you want to do some reps? He wasn't shying away from it. And when they saw Myles Garrett out there working out with Shedeur, what happened the next day? They put the camera all in Myles Garrett's face. That's what they do to manipulate the first stringers to shut the hell up and don't say nothing about this situation at the QB. It seems like to me the Cleveland Browns spend more time trying to hold back a black quarterback and prevent them from being the leader of the team, even though they can win, because this is about race and they don't want the black quarterback to have any influence. See, this is just not about throwing the ball. The quarterback has influence. Andrew Berry told you it's the most important position on the team. They don't want this young man who they can win with to be their leader because it's the most important position on the team. That alone ought to have Cleveland fans pulling out their hair because they've been sitting here for decades waiting for a winner, and now they have one. And the Browns front office and ownership don't want it to be him. Then release Shedeur Sanders. Send him to Canada because we going. But you ain't going to do that because you know we going. Don't be surprised if he not the one that get traded, even though he should be the one to get traded. To me, they have to trade him because people are talking. Their backs are against the wall. And it's good riddance once he gone, because I won't be talking about Cleveland no more. I'm going to hear about it, though. I'm going to hear about it. The moment the BS goes down, that karma shows up, I'm going to hear about it. And I'm going to be like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You could have did the right thing, but you choosing to ruin somebody's career, you're not going to get away with that. Like Coach Prime say, when you hurt people, you're going to get hurt too. Yeah, that's so true. They want everybody in line. Right. These guys are being whipped into submission. And the difference between the black players and the white players is how much they get paid. And what I mean by that is the black player they want to control, that's the one that they want to be the leader because they want that person to follow whatever weird strategy they have, wicked strategy they have going on. That is Miles Garrett. That is Miles Garrett. That's why he's the face. See, he's supposed to be so thirsty for fame that he's willing to sell out Shedeur and not speak on what's right. They praise him, Boitano, and pat him on the head like he a dog because he's on the O line. So they want to say without saying, we value you. Don't worry about him over here. That's what they do. The white players get paid to look the other way while they devalue and whip the black players into submission. They asked on X, what quarterback won an MVP that shouldn't have recently? I'm like, so you just want me to tell you Josh Allen? It was given, not earned. What's happening to Shedeur right now happened with Lamar Jackson 3 times, most recently in the MVP race, with people saying, well, Lamar Jackson was the best, but he wasn't the most valuable. We are not here to talk about what the hell you think. We are here to watch competitive sports and celebrate the wins. We discuss the losses so to get better. How the hell is the best person not the most valuable? They had to cheat in the damn game to keep him from getting to the next level. I said it. When he gonna realize and ask himself, do the Baltimore Ravens want to win a Super Bowl with me? It don't look like it. But they will pacify him, just like they pacified Shedeur by giving him a mic, but no more reps. See, they want these players to be lost on what's truly important. They don't want these players to have a sense of humanity. That means they think they dumb. And if you think I'm dumb, I'm going to show you I'm not. And that's what those players need to do. They trying to corral the locker room before it gets into shambles because it's already happening. They've created a toxic environment by pitting a true third string backup QB who they didn't really have real plans for because they had Flacco and Pickett before him, trying to force him to now be something he's not, and he's getting worse, and he looks worse every day. That's just Deshaun Kaiser all over again. Shedeur not playing for the Cleveland Browns is God's protection for him. The Browns picked Shedeur to bury him on the bench, right? And they didn't pick him. Yeah, they had to take him, and they decided just bury him on the bench until we figure out what else to do. Because this wasn't the plan. They were going to cut him already. He was supposed to be put on waivers already. The plan has already been shared. It can't be carried out like they thought, but they still trying. So the only thing that rubbed me the wrong way was how he referenced his father as a blessing. He's not referencing his father as a blessing and a curse. He's referencing his father as a blessing. The curse is how people try to attack his father, and they attack him because they can't get to his father all the time. That's what he's saying. You got to look at the context. Shedeur loves his father. Look at how he was dressed on draft night. He wore the same outfit his father wore, just a modern version of it. And it's a shame they don't want him to be proud of his father, but they sure fear him because how did Travis get that contract? And now Travis is officially listed as a wide receiver and a reserve cornerback. Is that what the plan was supposed to be? Wasn't he supposed to be a full-time player on two sides of the ball? Is that what a reserve cornerback does? Again, these guys should be motivated to start their own league. They should be motivated to start their own league. I don't know what else you need. If you can't win with them, you better start your own league so you can win when you're done with them. It's like you said the other day. It's a continuation of the conclusion. Yep. Yes, Haru, that's facts. 12 is exposing all of them. And all and off the field, making the organization look foolish by the minute. That's right, that boy. That's why they got to get rid of him. That's why they have to get rid of him. That's exactly why they're going to trade him. They trying to figure it out right now, what to do, because what they wanted to do, it never worked from the beginning. Anytime you send out somebody's phone number to 2,000 people who don't need to know, and it's all 32 teams, and nobody says anything, nobody gives him a heads up, nobody blows the whistle, everybody in on it. So it don't matter where he go. The NFL might not be for Shedeur in his career. And after the way he's been treated in Cleveland, and the longer he's there and the more he realizes they all in on it, he gonna be okay. But he got to realize that first, so he don't ever look back and motivated to start his own league, because he can do it. He has the same type of influence his father has. They might be different in their delivery and how they, go about their day to day, but make no mistake about it, Shedeur Sanders has the same effect. So he should take it and start his own league. They want to play? All right. Show them who's boss. They not that smart. They not that smart. Third round picks are backups, developmental players. Right. So to try to force Dylan into being a QB1 because you want to block Shedeur from it, because you don't want to make Shedeur QB1. And you hurting Dylan because he's getting worse and worse. You're not developing Dylan. You're forcing him into something he's not. You're more focused on holding Shedeur back, that you're willing to disrupt and ruin Dylan in the process. You're willing to destroy Dylan, his confidence. He's doing all of this in front of other people. He's getting worse and worse and worse. He didn't sign up for this. And if he thought he was better than Shedeur and he wanted to pretend he was better than Shedeur, he's getting a wake-up call. And I know it hurts, because now he out with a hamstring injury or nursing a hamstring injury. The very person they are trying to hold back is going to be the one that rises, because they so focused on using other people, manipulating other people, that they're getting hurt. So who else is it going to be? You going to put Flacco out there for preseason? I want to see it. I want to see it. Dylan is not playing against Cleveland in the preseason. People that's likely taking it easy on him. He playing against teams that want to win. He playing against rookies that want to make a name for themselves. Let's see how that turns out. Shedeur knows how to get out the pocket and still score. You don't believe me? Go watch the Baylor game. You can't trust the process with untrustworthy people. That's it. That's it. Is it possible that they've given Dylan Gabriel the amount of reps that they have so that they can create some trade value after picking Shedeur Sanders? Well, I'm going to say this. They are destroying Dylan Gabriel's trade value. Put in Dylan Gabriel out there and him getting worse and you leaving him out there. One is Deshaun Kaiser. Two, it's making him look bad. It's humiliating. So you've taken two quarterbacks in the draft, which people said was ridiculous. Now you're trying to ruin both of them. Within a day of each other, they both have an issue. You got Shedeur out here. He ain't even throwing that much, but he got to throw with intensity. He might not be throwing much on the field, but it was shown after practice. Shedeur was out there working out, him and Gage. I told y'all, I want to see which one of his friends make the squad. If Shedeur actually gets to be a true QB, Gage going with him. They want to praise Luke Floria, but act like they don't see Shedeur. They don't want to give Shedeur an ounce of praise because they think what? They jealous. He came through the door made. He's not going to be the only one. Workplace discrimination. Right. That's exactly what it is. When Haslam spoke the other day, I could feel the hate and the disdain he has for Shedeur in his voice. It's personal to him. Right. Because he's the reason. He is the reason. Haslam is the reason the Browns have never had a black quarterback drafted in the first round. Haslam was also on that jet to Colorado for CU's pro day. And they went to dinner with Shedeur and Travis, pretending to be interested in Shedeur and Travis after Haslam on March 31st came out and said, we took a big swing with Deshaun Watson and missed. The day after, on March 30th, that Andrew Barry Haslam decided to trade the number 2 pick to Jacksonville. They just did the deal 2 weeks later. So they went to see you pretending, pre-drafted under false pretenses. Organizational malpractice. Shedeur say anybody can get it. He ready. The facts. And here's the thing. To actually try to persuade people. And again, you have to believe the only people they were trying to persuade was their own fan base. That this young man wasn't good after the world watched him ball out in college. Colorado was one of the most watched teams. The Alamo Bowl was one of the most watched bowl games for a 9-12 playoff team game. That means they think they smarter than everybody else. So trading Shedeur is setting him free. And we're going to see what happened at the next stop because they're going to get it too. Shedeur knows what's going on, right, Bridget? And that's what we see. That's exactly what you see, which is why I say you are here. The look, everything, what he's saying, everything. In 2023, Shedeur came through the door. He said, they said an HBCU player couldn't do it. That unnerved some people, but that's their problem. That ain't his problem. He's right. They did say a HBCU players couldn't do it. They meant Travis too. They wasn't just talking about Shedeur. They was doubting Travis too. They didn't want Travis to win the Heisman. They didn't want Shedeur to win the Heisman. People like, oh, this is about Coach Prime. No, this is about a movement. HBCU players moving on from HBCU on to a Power 5, which is supposed to be a tougher division, but the HBCU kids got it done. That's a movement. They don't want that. They don't want all those damn good quarterbacks in HBCU sports and football to be recruited by these Power 5s, because what would happen to the NFL draft? Okay. This ain't about Coach Prime. He's a part of it. He's a part of it because how many black quarterbacks did he have? 3. He got 3 black quarterbacks. I don't even know what order they in. I'm going to start with Caden. Some people say Juju, then Ponder, then stop. He has 3 black quarterbacks. Name me one university that has 3 black quarterbacks that is not an HBCU. And they all have cannons for arms. They're all good. They all have deep ball accuracy. That means Coach Prime knows what he's doing. That means other teams will see it and want more of what Coach Prime can bring to the table and look toward HBCU coaches and black coaches. Coach T.C. Taylor keep balling out down there at Jackson State. Somebody gonna come for him too. This is not just about Coach Prime. That's a part of it. This is about black quarterbacks. What they did to Shedeur in the draft was not just about Shedeur. It has happened to other quarterbacks. It happened in front of 7 million people because, you know, there are kids out there who are black who want to be quarterbacks. They want to deter them. This is how you're going to get treated when you come here. And for anybody who thinks it's not true, you clearly don't know your black NFL QB history. You need to learn it before you even declare for the draft. For the players that say, oh, well, I'm not a quarterback, they don't care. Okay, make sure you don't get CTE. You're going to learn. They just want to whip them into submission and control them against. They don't want the black players who are non-quarterbacks, like the Jerry Judys and the Myles Garrett and the Harold Fanning Jr. They don't want those players to get together and talk about what's happening to Shedeur and want to do something about it. So they have divided them. They're using him for clout. They ain't even trying to do that. They trying to suppress as much as they can about him. If you don't believe me, go look at their social media, not their website. Look at their social media. Go to X, look at the social media. Myles Garrett is the banner. Dylan Gabriel is getting ready for Cleveland. What is it? For Carolina, and Shedeur is locked in. Just look through the pages and you'll see. If you want to know if they're going to trade him, see if his jersey is marked down even further than it already is. All of them are on sale for $103. See if his goes down, because Nick Chubb's has gone down, but he's gone. So just pay attention. It's going to take the fans to put pressure on the Browns. That's it. That's it. That's what it's going to take. I'm not a Browns fan. I was willing to be one. Hell no. People ask me, what's my favorite NFL team? What have I maintained since the beginning? I do not have a favorite NFL team. I have favorite NFL players. So I have multiple types of merch from different teams. I'm looking at a Raiders water bottle. Can you guess why I bought that? I have a Cincinnati Bengals hoodie. You know why I bought it? Because I knew one of our wide receivers could possibly go there. I have a Dallas Cowboys and a Houston Texans sweatshirts. I don't root for them teams. I know we have 4 wide receivers going to the draft. I just got the teams wrong. But I could have been right. Jimmy Horn Jr. should have been drafted earlier. All of those guys were devalued. So I asked myself last night, I said, okay, how do you get past this? Because if you know that guy going to come through for Shedeur, that means we're in the meantime. And what do you do? Because you got the other guys over there, right? Because I cheer for all of them. And I said, well, is there anything that Jimmy, LeJounte, Will Shepherd, or Travis can do about what's happening with Shedeur in Cleveland? The answer is no. They didn't cause it, and they can't do anything about it. Their contracts are also restricted. Not just because they're trying to make it, but their contracts are also restricted. It's essentially a muzzle. And I said to myself, the other guys, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to cheer for them. They were also devalued. But it is highly likely that if Shedeur is no longer in this league, whether he's put on waivers and nobody claims him and he ends up in Canada, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to be watching Canadian football. I was surprisingly watching Canadian football last week for the first time ever. I would wish them the best. What happened to them is wrong. I hope they ball out. It wouldn't surprise me if they do. It should be a reminder that they got devalued. But I'm probably going to ride with Shedeur. That's just honest. Travis ain't getting what he wanted. Jimmy didn't get what he wanted. LeJounte didn't get what he wanted. Will Shepherd didn't get what he wanted. They settled for what they got. I will be a casual fan. Because every time I see them, I will be reminded of what happened to all of them. You think it's a surprise Travis not getting what he wanted? They were being nice to him because he hadn't signed his contract. And once he did, the story started. Well, being a full-time two-way player goes against Players Association rules. Oh, you care about the Players Association now. Oh, okay. And here we are. Travis Hunter is listed as a full-time wide receiver and a reserve cornerback. He's not full-time, both ways. All of it was lip service. Just until you sign that contract. The Browns plan fire with Shedeur. Yep, get out of Cleveland. Right. It said demand better for their loyalty. Stop the madness. Force the investment owners out the league. They are the ones. Yep, I agree. I agree. And that's why I said the fans have the power. They exploiting your loyalty. Stand up and make them feel it. This is not something that they should move on from and wait with any kind of expectancy towards anything. This is more of the same. It's not foolishness. It is truly organizational malpractice, which means from top to bottom, it's problematic. It starts within, at the heart of it, led by the owner. And once he came out and confirmed he didn't want Shedeur, it explained to you why the culture towards Shedeur, we don't want you, we don't value, that's where it come from. I don't give a damn if he want to say Andrew Berry made the pick. You set the culture, sir. You set the culture. You set the tone. And Andrew Berry didn't pick Shedeur. Shedeur got sent to Cleveland, much like McDowell after his CTE issues in the street, which was an embarrassment to the NFL because all of these players were experiencing CTE at the same time. The NFL was denying Black players payment for CTE injuries because it said their brains couldn't be injured because they have a lower cognitive functioning to begin with, but they were happily paying the white players. That's likely why those guys got those second chances to come back and re-injure CTE injuries. To not look racist. They hadn't settled that lawsuit yet, or they had just settled it. Anything you see happening where Cleveland is concerned, believe me, something happened before they got there. There was a reason why they were there. Myles Garrett was the number 1 overall pick the same year DeShone Kizer was. They went with Myles Garrett in the first round, DeShone Kizer in the second round, pick number 53, and made him their franchise QB and sent him out there to go 0-15 and get worse and worse, just like Dylan Gabriel. So essentially, they took a Dylan Gabriel late, like DeShone Kizer, and trying to force them into being what they're not. That's humiliation. They're also devaluing him, too. His family has a grievance. Where's the NFL Players Association? It all started with the Giants lying about his interview. The Giants lying about his interview was part of the plan. It started after the Vegas Super Bowl, bringing Charles Woodson to Cleveland as a minority owner so the Browns don't appear what? So that's it, guys. The Browns have what they call a stay away, where they encourage the other fans to stay away. I've seen countless Browns fans say fans not gonna show up. DeShone Kizer went 0-15. I think they only had a 4% drop in attendance. I don't know why you would show up for that every week, but they did. So while they pondering a boycott, while they have a stay away, they are still upset, and it's up to them. It's up to them. I think as long as Shedeur is in Cleveland, we will lend them our voice for whatever they want to do to hold this organization accountable. But when Shedeur is gone, we gone too. So I'm gonna get out of here. I got another show tonight. I want to show the Buffs some love somewhere in between all of this because they balling. I finally saw Marshall Faulk show up, and he had an interview, and he was basically talking about, they playing for the run game. I saw one hell of a play from a player that I think we call Track Hawk. He pulled the Saquon Barkley in practice and hurdled over another player with the ball. I was like, oh, that must be who they talking about. 26 or 28. I can't remember the number right fast, but if Simeon Price, if that's who Track Hawk is, wow, we're gonna have an exciting. We're gonna have an exciting game against Georgia Tech, and the game is sold out. The game is sold out. We know all of the games are sold out, but they just put it out there that the Georgia Tech game is absolutely sold out. Less than a month. So our guy Shedeur is good. So we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back. We're gonna be talking about the Buffs. If anything comes up about Shedeur, turn your notifications on. We'll be back. But again, yesterday, I rest my case. Today, brought to you, the Browns fan base is fatigued. They know they deserve better. They know Dylan is being forced on him, and they know Dylan is not the guy. They have a stay away, pondering a boycott. Do it. and talk to the Green Bay Packers fans in the meantime and figure out how to wrestle your team away, force ownership that's current to sell, and put your team under a public ownership structure like the Green Bay Packers, and make sure the name of the Browns is held in perpetuity with the city of Cleveland. All right, y'all, that's out of here. That's it. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.